Yo, what's up, guys? How you doing? Hope you're having a fantastic day. So today we're gonna, well, as you can see in front of you, we've got the modeling of the foxhole coming up, and this is a little foreshadow of what will be happening and what we'll be creating in this session. So it's pretty easy. I mean, I know it looks intimidating, especially if you're a beginner, but this is a pretty easy process, and I will take you through everything step by step. Even if it takes a half an hour, I'll be there with you through everything, and we're gonna make this as realistic as possible. Yeah, as you can see on the model, there is some naturalness to it, you could say. It's not all straight. There's no circles. And well, we've got some bumpiness. So bear in mind, this bottom part, this part won't be seen. This top part, from, you see this line right here, right? This and above will be seen. That's why we're adding a little bit of a bumpiness to it, and I'll show you how without sculpting it and adding more geometry. So this is about, let me open it up. This is about a few hundred faces, I think. I might be wrong. I'm not gonna lie. A few thousand. Okay, I was very wrong. 1,570 faces. That's not a lot, and we want to keep it as low as possible when it comes to infusion. Or with any game engine, you want to keep it as low as possible to ensure that your players run at a decent amount of FPS. So let's get into it, and let's hide this. I'm not going to delete it. So where do we get this model? Now this model is currently in the Discord, right? When you come to the Discord, join the Discord in the description, you'll see that we've got tip of the day right here. And you'll see body FBX right here, okay? You get that, download that. It should be in your download folders. And what we would do then is close this out. File, import. File, import. Whoop, come on. FBX right down here, okay? Now you're going to import that file that you just downloaded. So that would be called body FBX, body.fbx. Now this file, I am going to take this, and it does come with a bunch of things. Now, what I'll do is I will re-import this just for, just for the sake of the video. Import. Whoa, come on, work with me, please. Thank you. We go to downloads, body, and you don't have to change anything on this side. No, nothing. Import. There we go. Okay. Interesting. Okay, stand by 1 second while I try and fix this, because it comes with FBX. We're gonna go with 3. Okay, there we go. This is the mess that you will import. Now, this is straight from Biohemia, and it has a lot of bones and everything like that. So let's select the bones, delete the bones. All of these things, we can delete those, delete that. Take the straps. This is my test armor that I tried to do. Still trying to work on that. And then the beret. You can use the beret for whatever purposes you would like to use. That's a free little beret for you guys. Now, on the right hand side here, in your scene collection, you're gonna right click, new collection, okay? and it will create a new collection right up here. Now I've already got a collection for this. Now you will select the body, the patch LOD, beret strap, and the beret underscore LOD, and drag it up to the collection. Okay, gonna select all. Oh, gonna hide the body, pressing H. I think you guys can see it down here. Yeah, you can. Now we're gonna select all by pressing A, and that will select everything that is not hidden. Okay, press X, delete those, because we don't need that. So we've still got our trench, our foxhole, and we've still got our body. Now we want to hide the beret and just unhide the body. Now you can unhide by coming up to the right hand side under scene collection, clicking this eye icon, or you can press, if you've pressed H to hide it, you can press Alt H to unhide everything. So that unhides everything in the scene. Okay, so but we just want, well, the object. And this is where it's important to appropriately name your object within Blender. So this is human. So we're just going to name that human, and we're going to call this foxhole. This helps you to keep track of everything within your project and easily track things in the scene collection. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. Okay. Now what we want to do is make sure that your little circle right here is in the middle of the world. The way we do that is Shift S, cursor to world origin. That brings it to the world origin. So you see this the grid system, it's got a midpoint, and that's where the midpoint is. That's the world origin. So it brings it down to the world origin, and then from here, we're gonna do Shift A, mesh, and cylinder. We want to make a cylinder because that's how we're gonna make this model, right? Okay, so we've now got the cylinder, right? Sorry, I just had to check something. I paused the video if it's an unnatural pause right there. So what we want to do is we want to bring it up to around, let's say, waist height, right? Bring it up to about waist height. Now, notice that we can't see where the feet of the character is. That is because we are in, well, we're in solid mode. Now, the way to switch to a mode called wireframe, so that we can see straight through the model, is we just do Shift Z, Z, whatever you call it, but Shift Z, and you can see that we can see straight through the model, through both models, which is pretty cool. So pressing 3 on the keyboard, and this is number pad 3, but on my keyboard I don't have a number pad, so I just press 3 on the 1 to 0 numbers just above W. So I just press 3. And if you don't have this happening and you don't have a keyboard, check my other video out. I went through how to set it up and all like so. But let's get on with the video. So we're in the side view. Also, another, sorry to interrupt, but what we can do is, if you don't have the option, right, you can press the, okay, I don't know what the key's name is, but it's above the tab and left of the 1 key. It's this little, it has like a little dash or a apostrophe in the top right or to the top left. So if you, I've got no idea what the tilde, there we go, the tilde key. If you hold down the tilde key, you can quickly switch from left, right, back, front, top, bottom view. So that's a quick and easy way to switch if you don't want to press 3, 1, and 2. And if you want to view selected, you just do that. I use this very, very often. So that is pretty cool. But anyway, I digress. So pressing tab and then going up here and selecting the face button. We're going to drag and select the bottom face. And if you don't know how to drag, come up here to the left hand side. And if you left click and hold, you'll see that we've got tweak, select, box select, circle select, and lasso select. We want box select. And a quick way to switch between these is pressing W. So if I press W, you can see we've got the circle select, lasso select, move tool, and box select. So we want box select. I use box select 90% of the time. Actually like 99% of the time. So box selecting the bottom part. Pressing G, Z. Okay. Now don't mind the circle around here. I will explain that in a second. I will disable that for now. We will be enabling that in a second. Selecting the top part, and remember, if we want to switch back to solid mode, it's Shift Z. Okay, selecting the top part. We want to inset this face by pressing I and insetting this face. Not too far, but not too shallow as well. Just enough. About there. We can always tweak it. I'll show you in a second how to tweak it. And then pressing E to extrude it downwards. So E to extrude it downwards. Now, like previously, pressing 3 on the number pad or keyboard. Shift Z so that we can see to the bottom. And pressing G, Z. Now notice we took it up to, well, we took the very bottom to the bottom of the boot. We want a G and then Z, and then bring that down just a slight bit. I would say about here, so that we can give ourselves interior movement. I'll explain what I mean with that. Interior movement with that. So what I mean with interior movement, if we start insetting this face and making a little bit more of a hole, we've got movement space in here. Whereas if we've got it about like so, we don't have a lot of movement space in here. So let me demonstrate. If I, for example, want to inset this face, and let's add a few cuts. Now, don't worry too much about what I am doing here right now. If I want to do this and this, everything I do right now is going to be explained. If I want to do this and turn it a little bit more into a dent or a dug in area, this space in between the inside and the outside, the bottom inside and the bottom outside, gives us movement space. Whereas if we've just got, this much space, it's gonna collide and we're gonna go through it. So that is what I mean with movement space. Okay. Now if I switch like this, guys, don't worry too much about this. If I go to faces, that's just 3, or clicking this little button up here. Or if it's edges, it is the one up here in the middle. Or if it's vertices, it's on the very left hand side up here. A quick way, if you've got a number pad, a quick way to switch between those is 1, 2, and 3. If you don't have a number pad, then you will have to manually select these. Or you can keybind them by right-clicking and assign a shortcut to them. So that is one way of doing maybe Control 1, Control 2, and Control 3, which is a cool way. So anything in Blender really can be set to a shortcut. That is pretty cool. Now, what we want to do is, I went a little bit crazy over here. There's off edges. So what we want to do now is take the outside like so, going back to solid mode, Shift Z, and then holding down Alt in face mode and selecting this edge right here. Selecting that edge. That loop selects, holding down Alt for anything. If you're in vertex mode, in edge mode, or even in faces mode, you can see that we select a loop. If we do it over here, you'll see that we select the loop right there. Okay, or even here, we'll select the loop. Inside, you select the loop. Now you can tell that this is how we will scale the inside. So if your inside is like massive, this is how you will scale it in, by pressing S and then Shift Z. The reason we pressing Shift Z is we're telling the computer that we want to ignore the Z axis and only scale upon on the X and the Y axis. So that brings it in. So we just want to bring it in a slight bit, just a teeny weeny bit, because we want to give this character a little bit of movement space within the foxhole. Okay. Now, what we want to do is select the edges. So coming up here, pressing the middle one, or 2, or Shift 2 if you pressed, if you made a shortcut, holding down Alt and loop selecting this outer rim, pressing G on the Z axis. So moving it up in the Z axis, just a slight bit like so, giving it that little curve. Okay. Then a Control R is adding a loop cut. So now we want to add a little loop cut right about there. Okay, going back into faces mode, holding down Alt, loop selecting this. Because we made a cut, it split these in two. And then pressing E, and then right click. So E, extrude, right click to cancel the extrusion, but it is extruded, but we just said we want to keep it in the same space. The reason why we want to keep it in the same space is we want to scale it evenly. The way we scale it evenly is pressing S and then Shift Z. So we don't want to scale on the Z axis, we want to scale only on the Y and the X axis, like so. Bring it out, about like so. And now this gives us a little bit more of play area, you could say. So bringing this in, I probably extruded it a little bit too much. Now coming back to the, with the, let me bring this up. Restore. So as you can see here, we've got the circle right here. Got the little lip. Then we've got the up and the down. So we're gonna make our foxhole a little bit more natural than this. This is very sharp, engineering type thing. We want it more natural. So we've got the up right here. We've got a little bit of a bevel area over here. Then we've got the flat, and then up, and then so. So what we can do is select this up here. Pressing E, right click, S, Shift Z, bringing that out. Taking this one, holding down Alt, loop selecting this. Then what we can do is press E, bring it up just a little bit. Loop selecting this outer area, scale on the shift and press Shift Z. Bring it out like so. Going into edge mode, loop select the top edge right here. S, Shift Z. And making it a little bit more natural. So we will be able to place our bipod here, bringing this loop a little bit more in. Now in nature, this is not going to be very flat. This is actually very unnatural, you could say. Well, you can say, not could, can say. So what we want to do is make this a little bit more natural. So we've got out the basic block. We've blocked it out. This is the basic blocking out phase. So what we want to do now is unblock this. Take it from blocked to natural. The way we do that is more... Oopsies. Is more polygons. Control R, add a loop cut there. Add a loop cut there. Control R, scroll wheel to increase the loop cuts to about this. Right click, and if you come down to the left hand side, you'll see that we've got loop cut and slide. If you open up the tab, before you do anything, press W. Before you do anything, you can see this tab on the left. You can increase, decrease the amount of cuts. You can change the smoothness, the inverse sphere, all of these things. You can start playing around with those, but we're not going to play with that. Control R, add a loop cut. Add 3 loop cuts over here. Loop cut, loop cut. Dissolve edges. Loop cut, beautiful. Now we've got more polygons to play with. Fun. So all the edges, as you can see here, there's an edge, there's an edge, there's an edge, there's an edge, there's an edge. All these edges need to be beveled just a little bit. Holding down Shift Alt, you can increase the amount of loops that you select. Right there, and right there. Okay. Might as yeah. That is about. So this edge, that edge. Ooh, we can add that one as well. And then what you want to do is Control B. Control B adds loop bevels. But before we do that, this object thinks it's still a cube. We haven't told this object that it's a voxel yet, or that it has changed. The way we tell the object that it has changed form is by pressing Control A and applying all transformations. So location, rotation, scale. Because we've scaled this object, we've rotated some of the stuff, we're gonna rotate some of the stuff, and we're gonna change the locations of certain vertices and edges and faces. So now we've just told the object that you're not a cube, you are now a voxel. Okay? Going back into cube, into edit mode, pressing just press tab. Going into Control B for bevel, okay? And you'll see that you're creating a bevel here. And you can increase the amount of slices by just clicking, scrolling your mouse wheel up. Okay, I think we need about 2, just for a little bit of smoothness, you could say. Just about so. And down here, actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna unselect, holding down Control Alt, Control C, Shift Alt, selecting the bottom faces. We're not gonna scale that. I'll show you how to scale that in a second. We want a little bit more polygons down here. So just repeating the process, Control B, increasing these just about so. Okay. Now you can already see it's a lot more smoother. It's not sharp. It's not very modern equipment made, you could say. So it's a lot more smooth, and that's what we like. Going into edit mode, selecting the bottom face, pressing I to inset. Let's inset about to here. Okay. Pressing Control R. I'm gonna add 3 loop cuts, actually 2 loop cuts. And this edge right here, I'm gonna bevel it just with one slice. So no slices. So this is 1 slice, 2 slices. No slices. Just bevel this edge. Just a little bit like so. Okay. Go into face mode, select the bottom one. Now you know what I told you with the inset, like the movement space? That's exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna press 3, Shift Z. Now, this little icon right here, proportional editing tool, is when it comes to making trenches and all these things, I used this continuously. This helped me to capture a bit of naturalness, some randomness, and so on. You've even got a random brush in here. Now the ones I mostly use is smooth, okay, for smooth movements, or sphere. This will keep it, this will move the vertices. If you move one vertice, you move everything within the circle around that vertice. So you'll move all the vertices in the circle around the vertice that's selected. Okay, so pressing G, you see the circle? Now it will move everything within that circle downwards in a circular movement, you could say. It's pressing Z to move it down on the Z. Now you can see that it's moving in a very circular movement. As I move it more down, it turns more into a half circle, okay? But what it also does, it moves everything above the boot is also impacted by this. Now, how to decrease the capture area is just scroll wheel in. So we want to decrease the capture rate to about this right here, okay? Just about like that. Okay. Sounds good. And now pressing the shortcut for this key is O. Okay, pressing O, or for Oscar. Now going into Shift Z, we can see that we've got the circle down here. It's a lot more smooth, so that's quite nice. Pressing S, Control Save. Now what we want to do is we want to start, as we can see in here, it's very straight, but over here we've got a little bit movement space, so this person can sit down or crouch and take cover from bullets or whatever. Now making this very straight area in real life, perfect. In Armor of Forger, you're gonna have a few problems because we can't sit in Armor of Forger. You can crouch, but then standing up and taking shots like that, we can't lift our weapons like this. So this is a little bit unrealistic for Armor of Forger. However, this is a lot more realistic. We've got this, for example, right here. What we're basically going to do is we're going to try and mimic this. We've got the ground that is dug and thrown on the sides of the foxhole. But what we're going to do as well is try and mimic these shovel marks. So try and inset these the shovel marks, showing that there was a little bit of digging, you know. And so yeah, let's try and do that. Same way that I did with the trenches. We're going to try and add these little bumps you can see. So, going back to Blender, what we've got, going to Control, or clicking on the model, Tab, Edit Mode. So, what we want to do is Alt, select these faces. Actually, I'm going to go for edges. Select these edges right here, middle one over there. Selecting the proportional editing tool, smooth, S, and you can see that we're moving everything around it, okay? So increasing, decreasing, okay? So we're gonna try and show a little bit of indentation right here as the person dug a hole and tried to dig a little bit of cover within this hole, okay? Alt selecting this loop, Shift Z, and increasing the proportional size. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. Got a little bit more cover in here. And then bottom one as well. There we go. Just about like so. So, now we've got a little bit of you could say, barrel movement in here. But this doesn't look natural. So the way we can increase the naturalness, again, I am going to say that a lot, I'm sorry guys, is by doing the following. Selecting the bottom edge, coming to the top, holding down Control as you select the top, selecting the top, like here. Whoa, come on, work with me please, thank you. Pressing G, and then Shift Z. The reason why we've still got the proportional tool is so that we can move everything around it. Holding down Shift to make small adjustments, small and smooth adjustments. We're going to move this in like so. Select this one. Control, hold down Control. Select the very bottom one. G, Shift Z, and holding down Shift to make small adjustments. Don't want to go crazy, otherwise it will look unnatural as well, but try and mimic what you would see in, I would say, nature. A person dug this, but try and mimic what you would see when you dig something. And when you dig something quickly. Now, you can, when making foxholes, there are two types of different foxholes, like with making trenches. You get the quickly dug trenches as little defense lines because the enemy is literally a few hundred meters away from you, or you get the very prepared foxholes and trenches which have bunker systems, and you've got very nicely dug foxholes with interconnecting tunnel systems and so on. But these, what we're creating right here, are quickly dug foxholes. Now, any military guys that are watching this, you can correct me if I am wrong. I say this in correction. If I need to be corrected, please do. So we're just moving these, like I just said, with the proportional editing tool selected. Control, select, boom, G, and then Shift Z. Okay, we just want to move it on the X and Y axis, and then holding down Shift, all we do is we just make fine movements. We don't want to make big movements, we just need fine movements. Okay, and already we can see that made quite a large influence in the way that the tunnel or the foxhole has been dug. Just like so. Just bring that out just a little bit more. It gives that, what's the word? There's a word for it that I've completely forgotten now. It slipped my mind. But the same goes for here as well. At the very top, right around here, the exact same goes for there. Even if you want to go inside and make more adjustments, feel free to do that. I mean, it's your project, so go ahead, press S, shift, like so. Bring this in, like so. Make those adjustments. Increase the size of the influencing tool, of the influence scroll wheel. And so you can make a very realistic looking foxhole by just using the edit proportional tool. And try and avoid these sharp edges when it comes to making natural things. So just about like so. The way you can make it even more smooth, you could say, right click, shade auto smooth. Okay, so there we go. Now we can see exactly where the sharp edges are. So we've got a sharp edge over here. So what we do is we scale that in. Now we don't have sharp edges down there. We've got a sharp edge around here. Cool. Easy fix. Easy fix. I hope so. Yeesh. Yeah, you just play around. This might keep me busy a while, and it is a tutorial, so I want to keep it nice and short, not too short. You can even add more geometry as time goes on. But yeah, so you guys can play around with that. Scale it on different axes and all that, which is pretty cool. If I haven't covered something, please let me know in the comments, because doing this like large tutorials or long tutorials, I am bound to have missed something. So if I have missed something and you're curious or questioning something, please just leave a comment and I'll try and respond as fast as possible. So now we need to increase the realism of this side. So we've got the area, like for example here, we've got the flat area, a little bit of a flatness, you could say, a little bit of a flatness over here, and then we've got the oh my word, the dirt heap on the sides. Now I would assume that the dirt heap is around, and the firing line area will be clear of dirt. So that's what we're gonna do, and that's what I see over here, is the dirt is all around, and this guy doesn't have 180 vision, but he has about, I don't know, I'm not gonna do 180 things, but he's got a clear view of what's coming from front. So that's what we want to do for this guy. Selecting this one, and that one right there. And again, over here, exactly the same, in the same order. Pressing G, Z, bringing that down. No, okay. Don't mind me. We're gonna select these ones like so. Pressing G, increasing the area of effect. Just about like so. Okay. Now this is gonna look very unnatural, so let's make it more natural. Selecting, you remember when I select everything like in a line like this, I'm holding down Control. Goodness. need to, hold on. I'm going to increase the font size to about 40 and bring it up. Honestly, I hope you guys can see the shift and all these things. Because I just saw that this is covering it for a little bit. Anyway, bringing this up just a slit, just a little bit, bringing this down, adding a little bit of organicness. That's the word, I found it. There we go. Adding a little bit of organicness. So this process can take quite a while, especially if you've got like a very fine, if you're a very fine, detailed, orientated person. I could say that. This process could take you quite a while. So adding with the proportional editing tool selected, adding little bumps, little grooves, and, well, scaling or moving it on different axes. Axes? And then in the end, you'll end up with something like this. So you'll have your grooves, you'll have the, and it's about the slight grooves, you know? It's not about having huge heap here and a massive heap here. It's about having that slight difference in the terrain. Now, this is already a very, very, very long video. So in the next video, we will go over testing the map, or testing the model in Fusion, seeing what needs to be changed or adjusted, and so on. So yes, if you want to go big, go big. If you don't want to go big and go small, like this one, for example, go for it. But anyway, guys. Whoopsies. You see, that is what happens if you forget the proportional editing tool on. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching the video. I know it was a long video. In the next video, we'll go over setting up LODs and testing out the model inside Fusion. So hope you guys are here for that. Like, subscribe for more, and comment if you've got any questions. I'm bound to have missed something, or not covered something, or not explained something correctly in this 43-minute long video. So be sure to comment. And any further questions, any like video help, or any more help with Fusion, try and join the Discord. We've got a lot of information on there, and it's really a very helpful place for modders to be. I'm trying to make it one of the best modding places out there for you guys, with the most information and the most helpful community. So that is my goal, and yeah, join, and I'll see you there, or in the comments. Anyway, guys, I'll see you later. Cheers. Bye.